Okay, I'm live. Hey, y'all. See if I can put a light on here. I'm not sure why I'm even decided to come live. I just felt like it had been so long. It seemed like a nice enough night. Happy Easter to everybody. What else did I miss? Happy Divine Mercy Sunday. Condolences for the passing of the Pope. I hope we get a new Pope. For whatever reason, I think I'm throwing my hat behind Cardinal Peter from Hungary. Apparently, I found out apparently he's a very conservative Pope, traditionalist conservative, which I feel like is kind of not generally the ideology that I extremely am supportive of, but I really like this devotion out of Hungary from Budapest. It's the Flame of Love devotion of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And I got the spiritual diary, the spiritual journal, and I've incorporated like some of the things that I read in there like into my daily prayer life. Yeah, I would like to see it just have more widespread recognition in the church. And I'm thinking like, well, this guy is from Hungary, Cardinal Peter's from Hungary, Bishop Peter, and the devotions from Hungary could kind of work out like Divine Mercy, right? Because wasn't John Paul II was from Poland, and then he brought Divine Mercy to the Universal Church, which like also started in Poland. So I feel like that could be helpful. Also, there's the whole aspect, I don't know if you heard about this, of the ancient prophecy about like predicting like the next 100 popes. And the prophecy ends saying that like, well, apparently like the next pope in the sequence, the guy who follows Pope Francis, is supposed to be like, he's supposed to be the final pope named Peter the Roman. And I'm thinking like, well, this guy's name is Bishop Peter, right? Cardinal Peter. So I think that kind of explains like where I'm at. Yeah. And if he's like a super traditionalist conservative, like, I think I even heard someone say that he's sort of like, I guess I shouldn't like, it's almost like gossip at this point. I'm not even sure I'm thinking of the right guy, but like, I was listening to some of these videos about like, top contenders to possibly basically win the election. It was one of them. It might be Cardinal Peter Erdo. They were saying he's almost like, is it right to say like anti-Vatican II? Something like that? And it's like, oh wow. So we're not just talking like a traditionalist. We're talking like really traditionalist. Because like Vatican II was like, before Vatican II, all the services worldwide, if I'm correct about this, all the services were in Latin, traditional Latin Mass. So if you don't even want to go with Vatican II, then there is no more like Catholic Church in English, right? Everything will have to go back to Latin, I guess. I don't know. I guess there's also like nuance there. Like, well, there's certain parts of Vatican II that were good and certain parts that weren't good, and you can kind of pick and choose. Yeah. I guess if we're gonna go with the Pope topic in general, I guess my overall thoughts about it is that I would really like for, I don't know, I guess how would I describe it? Like, I would really like for all the cardinals to completely surrender to the will of the Holy Spirit, and then there is no such thing as these like politicking and even like the election. I even wondered to myself, like, why don't we just like draw lots? Why don't we just like, like play some poker, play some kind of game of chance, and whoever wins, like literally just like, so how many people are even, actually I guess that wouldn't really work, because I guess the electors can literally elect anybody. Like, you could actually elect Donald Trump. You could elect some random person to be Pope. So how could you draw lots? That doesn't even make sense. But yeah, just the general idea though of like, well, let's set our own ambitions and egos aside and let's just let God make the choice. And I'm sure that's going to happen either way. You know, I'm sure God works through, you know, all kinds of, you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess that's about it. What about me? What's new for me? I tried to run away from home. I guess more or less that's how I would describe it. I'm sure some good and some bad came from it. It failed. Or did it, right? Like, I just feel like I had these experiences that I must have, I don't know, added to me somehow, right? I went through it, and I learned from it. I don't integrate that new knowledge, like, going forward into the future. So it's kind of like, I feel like when you have that kind of perspective on just any topic in general, like, there is no such thing as failure. Like, but from a certain perspective, like, for sure, I think I kind of failed. Because my idea was, okay, I'm going to leave my home because everybody that I live with are selfish and greedy, and they don't believe in God, and I do. So I'm just gonna leave, and I'm gonna fully surrender to my faith in God, and some kind of miracle is gonna happen, and God's gonna speak to me, and He's just gonna find some wonderful place for me to go to, and everything will be way better because I'll go to a place where they do believe in God, and they're not greedy and selfish, and they're actually nice, and they care about me. And I just feel like let's say that either didn't happen, or if it did happen, you know, God so-called speaking to me actually just told me to go back home. And, you know, you're not cut out for these streets. I'm not cut out for these streets. Well, now what, like, more specifically was my problem? I just got really tired. I had nowhere to sleep, like at nighttime. I guess I was technically welcome in some of the shelters, but I personally decided I don't want to go to the shelters. I don't like the shelters. I like to have a private room to sleep in. I don't like to sleep in an auditorium with like 50 dudes on mats. I like to sleep in my room, a bed. And then the other thing, I thought, like, well, I could sleep outside, but then it kept raining. 2 nights I tried to make it out there, and it was raining 2 nights in a row. Even after I came home, I think it rained the following 2 nights, so it was like 4 days in a row of rain. Either way, I came back home. It wasn't great, let's be honest. Let's really be honest, it wasn't great. And I came back home. I got in the way of, you know, my housemates' plans. The people that I was just alluding to, saying that, like, well, they're greedy and selfish and they don't believe in God, so I gotta get away from them. And they were, like, so glad to see me go. Like, I feel like they hate God, and so they hate me. Like, they hate me. They hate God, and they hate people who love God, and they hate me, and they hate God. And, I feel like God told me to come back, or I came back, and they hated me for coming back. Like, I actually, in a roundabout way, feel like that's exactly why I came back. Like, I feel like in a weird way, God is using me to just, like, hound these people. And I want to get away from them. But, how can you get away from God? I feel like He uses me to just kind of, like, annoy them, kind of. Not to annoy them, but, like, I don't think He's gonna give up on them. And if I leave, like, then what? Then who do they have? There was some crazy stuff. Maybe I'm being too hyperbolic, but I was literally gone, like I said, right? It was 2 nights, but so then really it was like, 2 days and 2 nights, I guess. So I was literally gone for like 2 days. And before I left, you know, I had all these pictures of Jesus hanging around the house, and I even had a chaplet of St. Michael with a crucifix on it, and it was hanging in one of the rooms. And it's like, I was literally gone for like a day. They tore all that down. And I was just kind of like, of all the changes that happened while I was gone, and honestly, I thought they were mostly like really good changes. And I felt like, why did they wait for me to leave to do this stuff? Like, you guys know you could have made these changes at any time, right? Like, they tore down all the pictures of Jesus. And I just felt like that was strange. Not just like, yeah, I felt like that was strange, to be honest. I feel like it speaks volumes. And I don't know. So I decided, like, well, I'm so hurt. Even my pride is hurt. And what happened? Actually, I was thinking a lot about the prodigal son. The, what is it, an allegory or something? The metaphor? Whatever you call it. Where in the scripture, in the gospel, I think it's Gospel of Luke, you know, the prodigal son basically runs away from home. He doesn't do so well, so then he has to come back. But when he comes back, he like bows his head to the ground. He's like begging his father for his forgiveness. He's like super humble. He admits that he was wrong. Yeah, I didn't do any of that. I pretty much did the complete opposite. I came back and I was like, I was so resentful that I even had to come back. And I felt like I had to come back because they weren't actually praying for me to succeed. And they didn't even want me to succeed. They were basically praying for my downfall. I was just so very proud. It must have been proud. I didn't say anything. I took a vow of silence, a so-called vow of silence. So they're literally screaming at me, and I'm just not responding. Yeah. Straight up screaming at me. Kind of crazy. For sure, it's like it's got to be an abusive situation. Literally like a day or two before I left, one of my housemates was like, he was straight up screaming at me for like, I'm not even being facetious. It must have been at least 20 minutes. And I don't even know what he was talking about. It's one of those situations where like he's really shadow boxing like with himself, or like, I don't even know, like some kind of entity in the room, like, but he like thinks it's me. So I'm just like sitting there like listening. I wasn't even responding. I don't even think I said anything back. It was just like a 20-minute soliloquy where he was like, the more that he talked, like the more angry he was even getting, and then he was talking even more, and then it was like weird. But it was basically just about, I guess I would say, pride. That's not how he would describe it, right? Like, he was teaching me the truth about like this and that, but I felt like it was like, that's just all delusional. And I felt like he was just trying to justify his own evil and not confess to doing anything wrong, and trying to basically just doubling down, you know? Like, he's in a deep hole. Maybe he doesn't even realize that he is. And then instead of like trying to reach for a ladder or even stop digging deeper, he's just like, no, I'm going to keep digging this hole. Here's why I'm right for digging this hole. Here's why digging this hole is actually a good thing. Here's why I'm not in a hole at all. And it's just like going on and on and on about how like just crazy stuff. I mean, I guess I could get into the details about like the specific topics, but for me, that's not even relevant that much. The only real relevant part for me is that like he was invoking a spirit of like wrath and anger. He was invoking a spirit of like judgment and condemnation and wrath and anger and selfishness and greed. I don't really care what he actually said specifically, like beyond that. I feel like anything that you say, like under those star signs or whatever, is just like, you know, like if that's, you know what I mean? I'm sure you guys know. But it kind of reminds me of like something I saw on social media today. It had something to do with like married couples, you know? I guess it's a wife posted like a caption on social media saying like, you know, the longer I'm married, the more I realize that in about 95% of arguments that I have with my husband, he's pretty much right every time. I just didn't like his tone. But actually he was right. I just didn't like his tone. But for me, I can't really separate the two. Like, if you have a bad tone, you're wrong, right? Like, if you have a tone and a spirit of being an evil psychopath, then you're wrong. Like, I don't care if you're rationally right or, arithmetically right. According to your calculations, you're right, but you sound like you're evil, so you're wrong. Like, I don't care. That's how I feel. Now, technically, there's a sweet spot where you both, you're like rationally correct and you have the right tone. Lovely, lovely. Some people have a sweet tone. It really goes both ways, right? Like, some people have a really sweet tone and they're just like deceiving you, right? Like flatterers, I don't know, liars, deceivers. They're using the nice tone and they're just like telling you lies. Other people have like a mean tone, but they're telling you the truth. So really, you just got to combine them, right? The nice tone with the truth, right? And I guess maybe that's how it goes for straight hetero people, straight cis people, right? You just basically combine. You got this like mean, grumpy guy who's like generally correct about most stuff, but then you have this like sweet, flattering, polite girl. Wait, I guess this would mean she's mostly wrong about stuff. But either way, you just combine the two of them, and then like the two become one, and then you have like a great power couple. I just kind of am more into doing it solo, I guess. That's kind of my thoughts. Or I'm delusional. I should just gaslight myself. So I don't know, yeah. What else has been going on? I mean, I haven't really streamed on Twitch in a long time. There was a couple... Wow, I feel like I just have so much I want to talk about. I'm talking so fast and I sound so excited, like, kind of surprising. 'Cause I feel so gloomy. I came back home and I covered up all my windows with tinfoil and I set up my candles and my night lights. Looks like a vampire's lair. Uh-oh, someone's pulling into the parking lot here. They don't got their headlights on. It's nighttime. What are you doing, bro? Turn your lights on. What the hell? Oh, they're on. They're on. So anyways. Yeah, so like I said, I was only so-called homeless, or I ran away from home just for those 2 days there. Oh my God. During the periods that weren't like awful and I had nowhere to sleep and it was raining and like I just felt like no one cared about me and it was really bad. In between those episodes, there was like so many good experiences. Oh, it was so nice. So I went to the nearest like urban area to where I live. I went downtown to the closest city. And there was just like people. I got to actually talk with real people who weren't like psychopaths. And I got to like help people. I got to go to church and I got to go to confession and talk to a priest. I got to pray. I really prayed. Like when I was really like out there having nothing, I felt like my prayers were so real and so sincere. And I felt like they were really being answered in a certain sense. Like I remember at one point praying so seriously. I was in tears, crying. And I pray all the time. I pray almost every day. I pray chaplets and rosaries. Or I just talk to God, have these conversations with God in my private thoughts, but like, not like that. It was so real that I was crying. It was really bad. And then literally like an hour or two after that, one of my old friends, a neighbor of mine from when I used to live there, I lost his number. We fell out of touch with one another. We don't talk anymore, but I always thought of him as like one of my spiritual mentors or a big brother. He actually told me that I should call him my uncle. Whatever. I felt like it was important to him. And he was like riding his bike right past me on the sidewalk. I called out his name, I got his number, and we got back in touch and had a conversation, and like I really miss that. Really miss just like seeing other people. So yeah, I don't know. It's a shame that it does kind of feel like all the best people are losers, kind of. Because I feel like, how should I say? If you don't lose, like, in how the world is, like, currently set up, like, you're, like, an awful person, basically, right? Like, if you're winning under the present system, where, like, winning means, like, exploiting other people and, like, generating wealth by, like, you know what I mean? Like, just lie, like, let's lie to people and do this and that. Okay, I made money today. I lied to you. I bought this thing for like $10, and then I lied to you and I sold it to you for $50. I made money today. Like, I'm a winner. And I just feel like, yeah, okay, I guess I'm a loser then. And yeah, it's too bad that we just, like, all suffer. Yeah. Also, oh wow, the lights just went off. I wonder if the pastor can, like, control that from his parsonage. Because why would they randomly go off at 10:22? You know what I mean? I guess they didn't all go off, like this one's still on. But there was, like, I don't know, a bunch more of them out there that all went off at the same time. So yeah, I don't know, I guess, I took that vow of silence thing, but I also feel like, well, basically, like, some of the people that I was being silent towards and I was going to ignore them because they're evil and greedy, they just texted me and they were like, hey, we brought home a pizza. You're welcome to have some pizza if you like pizza. And then I kind of felt like, well, maybe I don't have to be that silent because I do like pizza, Let's not cling to hard-heartedness just because I want it to be my new identity. Let's actually have some flexibility and, like, if they are gonna, yeah, it's pretty much all I wanted was just, like, for people to care about God and other people and, like, be nice and share. And yeah. So anyways, I don't know, I guess I think I'll leave it there. I used to do these really long streams where I would get on here and just talk for like 40 minutes or an hour, and it's kind of like, I don't know if I have to be that in my feelings about it. But yeah, I think I still have ambitions to kind of, like, run away from home or, like, get out of here. I don't know. Like, I came back, right? I met my old spiritual mentor, the one I talked to you about. He was riding by on his bike, and I got his number, and we got back in touch. He told me to look into this job, the home health aide or the home care, I don't know, some kind of, like, taking care of old people at home. Pretty much my mom had told me the exact same thing. So I figured, okay, well, I'll look into it. But see, the thing is that I did look into it. And I even put in some applications, and I got a call back, and we had a conversation. And I just feel like that sounds like I felt like I was being as honest as I could be. At least, as the person that I am now. And it just, like, didn't go. So I still kind of feel like I'm fundamentally in the same place I was, where I just feel like I'm not gonna, like, I'm just gonna be a loser, bro. Like, I'm a loser. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Maybe it's just God's fault. I don't know. Like, I don't have a passion or a drive to enjoy doing any sort of thing. And I feel like all the suggestions that the people in my life are telling me to do, to, like, well, if you really want to get out of there, you can't just go be homeless. You need to, like, save up money, and then you can rent an apartment or something. You can move out, like, once you have resources. So you need to get a job. And I just feel like, nah. Because every time I look into that, it basically involves, like, do something that you hate doing, or, like, repress your own truth and authenticity. Like, just basically just, like, do something bad, right? What do they say? Like, I don't know. Basically just, like, I don't know, be a betrayer. if you betray God, we'll give you some money and then you can get an apartment. And I just feel like, damn, that sucks. That kind of sucks. Like, I don't think I'm going to do that, right? So I kind of feel like maybe God is testing me. Maybe great wealth is in my future. And from another perspective, I feel like, well, God's already given me great wealth because I shine bright like a diamond. You can see it in my eyes. You can hear it in my voice. Yeah. I just don't want to force myself to comply. I just don't want to force myself to fit in. And that's that, right? I guess so many people would have a problem with that, right? Well, whatever. So I don't know, I'm just praying. Am I praying? Maybe I should pray. Maybe I will be praying that somehow, like, I know he can do it, right? Because he can do everything. Like, God will find a way that I can just be my most authentic self, doing what I love to do. And, like, I guess, like, make money, right? Or give me at least some kind of, like, power or freedom. I'm not sure it really has to come in the form of, like, well, I made money so I can rent an apartment, so I can move out, so I can do this and that. Like, God could do anything, bro. He could literally give me miraculous powers, right? He could give me anything, things beyond my comprehension, things beyond my imagination. So I'm gonna stay true to that. And I think I'm gonna go eat some pizza. Hopefully it's pretty good. I've been trying to do this, like, fasting thing, mostly on account of, like, I want to lose weight or have a healthier body or even just look better, like, be more attracted to my own, like, reflection in the mirror. I just can't do it. Again, I can't change who I am. It's like the same situation. Like, I just can't do it, bro. I don't have, like, what they call discipline. I honestly feel like I'm starting to wonder, like, I basically think discipline is, like, bad. Like, I actually don't like discipline at all. I almost feel like discipline is, like, evil. Discipline is, like, forced conformity, is, like, I feel like that's the opposite of God. God is about, like, celebrating who you are and who he made you to be, not about, like, your ability to, like, repress yourself into complying with other people's, like, expectations for you, and, like, you need to be disciplined to, like, wake up at this time, and, like, even though you hate doing that, you just need to do it anyways because, like, we want to embrace, like, the spirit of hatred. And I just feel like that sounds like horrible, bro. That sounds like, what are you talking about? What does any of that have to do with God at all? That's like, you're basically describing something satanic and then you're saying that's, like, God's plan. And I'm just like, I'm a complete opposite with you on this. So anyways, peace to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. I hope we have an amazing new Pope. I stand with Ye. I stand with Ethan Klein. That's it. Point blank period. Amen.